Hey guys, it's Random Hunter. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends retro card Scarlet-Spider. Now, this was a figure I was looking for a long time since it came out, and I got lucky enough to find one at a comic book store near me, and I picked it up for about $30. Good price, really, because I was checking on online stores. They were selling it for like $40, $50, mostly like eBay or Walmart is how they were selling it with that price. So I was kind of glad I was able to find it for, $30, and I picked it up. And I'm gonna be reviewing it today, so let's get into it. Looking at the packaging, here we have the regular retro card packaging that they've been giving to the Spider-Man wave over the few years. In the front, we have a nice little picture of Scarlet-Spider here with some lights shining towards him, and then here we have Marvel Comics with the nice little Spider-Man going across the packaging with the web spreading out behind a little figure of Spider-Man. And pretty much what we have in the back is like a layout of the city, and then we have the actual figure in the front with the window packaging. He comes with 2 sets of hands, or 3 if you want to include the ones he currently has on. No interchangeable heads, but great articulation, I've heard. So let's look at the back. In the back, somewhat similar to the front. This was in the front. This was not in the front, but everything else was. So here we see a nice little picture of what you can do with the interchangeable hands. You could swap them out, or you could just keep in the one that he comes with. Here we have a nice little photo of him with the web. And here we have his blurb. Peter Parker's clone and eventually ally, Ben Reilly, returns to New York to defend the city as the web-slinging Scarlet Spider. Pretty short, but it's okay. So let's get into the review. We're going to take a look at his accessories and then at the actual figure. Looking at the hands, he comes with a pair of web shooting hands or sweeping hands. Pretty simple mold, comes with every single retro card Spider-Man, just, with more color on it. And then here we have some landing hands, or like some climb to the wall type hands. Whatever you want with it, really. And then that's really all he comes with. No spare heads, no, other accessories, just interchangeable hands. So now, let's move on to the actual action figure. Look at this figure. He is a hard figure to pose, because of his lack of screen time. The only few places that I've seen him on was Ultimate Spider-Man and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. But even then, in that little small snippet of his movie clips, I think in total he only got 2 minutes of screen time in that whole movie. He barely really had any, dynamic poses, any, really flashy poses. But in Ultimate Spider-Man, he did have a lot. So, that's the only type of screen time I remember this character getting in all the time of the MCU, or in the animated series. But overall, this is a great figure. We're going to take a look at his articulation and then, see what type of poses you're able to do with him and see how the sweater kind of, maximizes how much it could do or limits how much posing it could do. So let's get into that. Now, looking at his articulation, we have something that we rarely see on some of the retro wave. I'm gonna compare him to a retro wave figure that I have. I have 2. So here we're comparing him to the Negative Zone retro card and the 2099 retro card. So he has no type of articulation in his foot whatsoever, other than the ankle pivot or, the ability to move up and down. Same as in the Negative Zone, no foot articulation. So the only type where we've seen this articulation was on, the Scarlet Spider, the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, and I think also on... To me, I think that's just like about the only figures that we've seen have, any toe articulation. Other than that, not really much. So, yep. Let's take these guys out. Now let's look at his articulation. So with his articulation, we got some double jointed knees. Really soft joints too. They could go back about this far. Go forward about this far. And then he has some calf swivel. You get some more poses with that. Same on the other leg. And then also on the other leg, double jointed elbows. Knees instead of elbows. And yep, his foot could go about this far before the belt kind of limits it. It could go back about this far It could go to the side this far, and that's about it. Same on the other leg. But overall, really great articulation in the legs. Now we're moving on to the arms. The arms, they go up about this far before, you know, the sweater kind of limits it. They could go forward and around all the way. Double jointed elbows. And then bicep swivel. Articulated wrist. And then now onto the ab crunch. Now the ab crunch might be a little bit limited due to the sweater, but still overall he has beautiful ab crunch. As you can see, he could bend about this far with the sweater on him, and he could bend about this much backwards as well with the sweater. Now the head could go up about this far before, you know, he's limited. Could look down about this far and can turn this much, tilt his head to the side. Same on the other part. Overall, great figure. Love it. Love his articulation. Now let's get into the detail and paint application. Now looking at the paint application, overall he has a really simple base, just a regular Spider-Man figure, just painted red. But something that's different is the head sculpt. See how the lenses are kind of sculpted on there, and that's really the only different part. Other than that, everything else is the same. Then here we have the wrist pieces, which you can take off if you don't want them on. A closer look at that. Just some, you know, basic silver paint or silver mold, you know, because there's zero paint on there. So basic silver, you know, mold. And then for the belt, we have this nice little, I think the base of it was brown and then they just painted it silver for the cartilages. Now, I think these are web cartilages. I'm not 100% sure, but they're the only things that I could think they are. And then we have the ankle pieces, which is like another type of, I think, gear for him. I love how much detail they put into the buckles of the, you know, belt for able to tie around his ankle. And the sweater too, as you can see, the shoelaces, or not shoelaces, the strings of the sweater are movable, but not so much, and very flimsy. And then we have the hoodie that could somewhat come up, but then, you know, this part is like stuck on, and I'm not really trying to play with it or remove it on accident. But yeah, the Spider-Man logo on him was printed on, I'm guessing, and same on the back. Overall, great figure. Now let's try and see what poses he can do before he's limited. Now this is one pose I was able to get him into, and I really love it a lot. I feel like it fits the figure and the character himself. Overall, I think I'm gonna keep it like this and put him on my shelf on my Legends display. But overall, I give the figure a 9 out of 10. Love the articulation, love the look. Accessories could need a little help, so other than that, overall great figure. Recommend for purchase as well. And as always, please like and subscribe and share. Random Hunter out.